Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Hey, around our house, we play a lot of cards. In fact, growing up, we played a lot of games like whist, we played cribbage, we loved cards. And I've always thought that cards are a great analogy for life. You see, here's what you know, here's what I know. Sometimes life doesn't deal us the best hand of cards, right? Sometimes it doesn't deal us the best hand of cards. And so this week, on the Daily Dose, we're going to talk about the 5 most important, or what we believe are the most important lessons our faith teaches us that we can hold on to in times when life doesn't deal us the best hand of cards. And here's the thing. Here's what I know. I know you are like me, that at times I don't believe I have enough. What do I mean by that? Well, today I want to talk to you about wealth, because one of the most important lessons our faith teaches us is a lesson about wealth. Tell me I'm not alone in this. At times, I forget that I have enough. You see, I think if there's one thing universal about all of us, when we look at what we have, we often find ourselves saying, I just don't have enough. And the fact of the matter, in our United States culture, we've come to believe that we never have enough. The moment we buy something or achieve something, 2 hours later, we have this hunger for more. So today I want to look at the book of Micah. Micah was a prophet. Now, a prophet wasn't necessarily, at times we think of them as fortune tellers, but here's what prophets did. In that Old Testament world, prophets were the one to look at the people and say, if you don't change your ways, this is what's going to happen. They were sort of truth tellers. And Micah lived in Israel. Now, Israel in that day and age was a major thoroughfare for trade. On one side of this little country of Israel was the Mediterranean Sea. On the other side was desert. It was this little tiny country that everybody went through to get from Asia to Africa. And so everybody not only went through it, but everybody wanted to control it. And so Israel, again and again, was ransacked. Well, Micah lived in Israel. He lived in a time where the country was divided. The northern part of the country was called Israel. The southern part was called Judah. And Micah was in Judah, and he was telling the people, if you don't change your ways, the future, your future is going to be just like that of Israel, the northern kingdom, which had just been ransacked. He told them, if you don't change your ways, bad things are coming. Well, what did they need to change? Well, prophets, believe it or not, often pointed out economics that had gone south. They didn't talk about morality as much as they talked about economics. And I know this is hard to believe, but in that day and age, maybe just like us today, there was this selfish materialism that permeated culture in that day. Funny how the Bible is so irrelevant, huh? Religion had become this institution that was all about making me happy, about blessing me. You see, there was this selfish materialism that had taken over. People in Israel in that day and age, they lived on small farms, and these small farms were owned by larger landowners. And at the end of the year, it was common knowledge that those large landowners would cheat. They would cheat those small farmers out of pay. They would use dishonest weights. And in the end, what would happen is that the haves, well, those landowners that were the haves oppressed the have-nots. The rich got richer and the poor got poorer. In Micah chapter 6, verse 14, it says these words. This is what happens in a society like this. You shall eat but not be satisfied, and there shall be a gnawing hunger within you. You shall put away but not save, and what you save I will hand over to the sword. What he's saying is what you and I know is true about us today. There's never, ever enough. And our stuff is never, ever going to make us happy. You know this. We never find real joy in our stuff, in our wealth, because it's all temporary, isn't it? In Micah chapter 6, verse 8, I believe the author was pointing at where God wants us to find real joy, the only place where any of us will ever find real joy. It says in Micah 6:8, He has told you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To do justice, to love kindness, and to walk humbly with your God. To do justice, to love kindness, and to walk humbly with our God. You see, real lasting joy, you know this, it'll never be found in our stuff. It'll never be found in the size of our wallet, the size of our 401k, the number of zeros in our bank account, right? It's found in doing justice, loving kindness, and walking with our God. The 5 most important lessons our faith has for us, just maybe this lesson about wealth is one of the most important. If you know somebody maybe who's struggling with their inability to see they have more than enough, maybe you'll invite them to watch this. Maybe you'll share this post with them. If you're watching on YouTube, I'd love for you to hit subscribe and hit the little bell so you get notifications. And if you're watching on Cable Access 181, invite a friend to watch with you. Folks, have a good one.
When the ground beneath my feet gives way and I hear the sound of crashing waves, all my world is washing out to sea. Hidden safe in the God who never moves, holding fast to the promise of the truth. You are holding tighter still to me. Oh, the rock won't move and his word is strong. The rock won't move and his love can't be undone. The rock won't move and his word is strong. The rock won't move and his love can't be undone. The rock of our salvation. The promise of your blood, my support within the raging flood. Even in the tempest I can sing. I'm hidden safe in the God who never moves, holding fast to the promise of the truth. You are holding tighter still to me. Oh, the rock won't move and his word is strong. The rock won't move and his love can't be undone. The rock won't move and his word is strong. The rock won't move and his love can't be undone. The rock of our salvation. Whoa. Christ, the solid rock, I stand. All other ground is sinking sand. The rock won't move. The rock won't move. When darkness seems to hide his face, I rest on his unchanging grace. The rock won't move. The rock won't move. And Christ, the solid rock, I stand. All other ground is sinking sand. The rock won't move. No, the rock won't move. When darkness seems to hide his face, I rest on his strong.